If you are not into news, politics, current events, now is your time to go somewhere else. Because now we're going to get into the juicy stuff. Hi, guys.
This has pretty much been explained.
Jonathan David. So, what has happened recently in our current state of events? Trump's State of the Union address, actually, it wasn't a State of the Union, it was a joint session of Congress address, but for all essential purposes, it was the State of the Union. It was him saying what's going on in our country. So, the only portion of the show that the Democrats actually clapped for, stood up, and celebrated President Trump on was when he remarked about all the hundreds of billions of dollars that has been sent to the Ukraine regarding the Ukraine-Russia war. No, they didn't stand up for the 12-year-old surviving brain cancer. They didn't stand up for Laken Riley, the young Georgia resident, I believe it was Georgia, who was killed by gang members that are illegal immigrants, and the Laken Riley Act has actually become law because of that. None of that, because they just hate America, apparently. Democrats hate America. Yeah, it would seem that way. Because the literally only time they cheered was for sending money to hundreds of billions of dollars to a foreign country related to a war that we don't need to get into whether we are in agreement with the war or not. But they love that. They love screwing the American taxpayer. But no actual American citizens that are killed by their policies, their failed policies. No, they're not going to stand up and cheer for that. Democrat member Al Green stood up and yelled incoherently at President Trump. Even the Democrats were kind of like, what are you doing, old man? This guy's in his, I think, 80s, so he's an old man, and he was rambling on about Medicare and Medicaid to Trump, even though that President Trump is doing nothing to touch Medicare or Medicaid. So I'm not really sure what anything he was talking about was, and I'm not really sure he was. I mean, maybe Joe Biden and him are on like the same level, and they have an idea of what he was talking about, but I'm not really sure. Instagram clip of the week, over taxation. This is a nice little video I want you to check out to get into interluding into the next topic. So check it out.
No, I seriously think about this every single day, and I'm sorry if I sound stupid. If somebody has $500 and they've already paid taxes on it, and they give it to me, so now just because it goes from them to me, I also have to pay taxes on it, even though they just did. And then not only that, but anytime I spend one of those $500, I'm going to also pay another tax fee on whatever item I'm buying. And then whoever I bought the item from will have to pay taxes on the money they just earned from what I bought. So every single dollar...
That's right.
Just forget it.
Good for you. Just 100 years ago, we would go to war for a government to tax us. Today we say, yes, sir. Here's my tax money on everything. We don't question it anymore. Keep questioning. Whoever this girl is, keep questioning. I like the direction you're going. So,
yes, I mean, this clip shows exactly, I mean, it's pretty much speaks for itself. We are a country that was founded on we literally fought over a 2% tax on tea and decided to make our own country over it. But here we are now getting taxed basically over 20%. In every possible area, whether you're a corporate, individual entity, S corp, whatever you're filing as, we're paying hella taxes. We're paying taxes on property that we own. We're paying taxes on the money that we use to buy the property. We're paying taxes on any investments that we make, things that are supposed to help drive innovation. We're paying taxes on those. So I think this kind of goes into what I want to talk about next is DOGE. Yes, the Department of Government Efficiency. Before anyone freaks out, the Democrats and lots of left-leaning people keep saying, oh, Elon Musk, unelected official. No, that is completely hypocritical of them to come in and try to say unelected, bureaucratic, yada, yada, yada. Guys, you made this. First off, this is not the first time a DOGE has ever been implemented. All the way back to Bill Clinton, they had an administrative executive branch agency that was designed to cut fraud, waste, and abuse. The power wasn't as nearly as extensive and overwhelming as it is now in the federal government and the executive branch. But you can thank Obama for that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's the Communications Act under Obama that was implemented that gave even more power to the executive branch to come in and have unelected bureaucratic officials run roughshod with the American taxpayer dollar and do whatever they wanted over communications, security, and privacy, whatever that means. So now that someone else is in charge and they're doing things that the Democrats and the left do not agree with, all of a sudden it's a major problem. Complete hypocrites. As soon as they have someone else, which we know politics is a pendulum, it'll swing. As soon as they have someone else in power that they agree with and that will continue to spend extra money and have extensive fraud and corruption, they'll be happy with it. And the whole unelected bureaucrat, unelected official running roughshod, you won't hear anything about that. But only when someone is in power that is actually, just be clear, Elon Musk and what President Trump is doing with Doge is they are not fascists. They are not unelected bureaucrats that are just doing whatever they want with the money, because never in the history of the world has a unelected bureaucrat who's a fascist and a dictatorship ever shrunken the size of the government and lessened the amount of money that they're spending, which is what they're doing. So I call BS. All right, moving on. Regarding Doge, what they're doing is great. Well, I mean, they're saving, 20 million here for transgender mice studies, or 20 million on condoms in Belize or wherever. Great, good stuff. But in the grand scheme of the entire U.S. budget, which is projected for 2024 to be $6.9 trillion, what they're doing, yeah, that's great. Everybody who sees their paychecks and sees how much tax is getting taken out would love to see where the money's going and see less fraud, waste, and abuse and corruption. But the only way to actually address and start paying off our debt as a country and biting into this deficit is to actually start affecting those means-tested welfare programs. That's your food stamps, your TAMF, your Social Security, your Section 8 housing, those welfare programs. And nobody wants to do that because it's a death wish as a politician. I mean, even with President Trump, all that he's doing, he's not touching those things because he knows. I mean, there's lots of Trump supporters that are on Social Security and on Medicare, Medicaid. But as a country, at some point, we will have to come together unless we're just never going to pay off this debt. And I don't know, one day the bottom could fall out. But if we're ever going to actually be able to pay off the amount of debt that is basically insurmountable at this point, would be to start to cut at those programs because those are our major spenders. And nobody wants to do that because that's just a lose game in politics. Nobody is going to get reelected. Nobody is going to get elected who's going to say they're going to do those things. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So I'm scared for the future of our country. I'm scared for our children. But hey, it's part of the reason we're doing this, right?